My friend, F27, and I, M32, keep hooking up, and I don't know how to move forward. I am very lucky to have a very good and tight-knit friend group that F became a part of a couple years back. There was never any feelings or sexual tension between us until about a month ago when we got drunk, and she put the moves on me seemingly out of nowhere. We hooked up that night, and again in the morning. She was very emphatic the next day about being attracted to me, and had felt that way for months, but thought it was best to put that behind us, so as not to jeopardize our friendship. I agreed that I didn't want to mess things up, and, while I felt a small disappointment at that, all was well overall. Last weekend she arrived at a concert I was camping at with friends. She put the same moves on me, and we hooked up again. Now I've begun to develop feelings for her. I called her, and she said again that she finds me very attractive, but is too scared of ruining our friendship. I wasn't entirely open about how I felt. I didn't want to spook her. My friend group is very important to me. She's helped me through breakups and many other troubles. I would never want anything from her but enthusiastic reciprocation, but I really feel like her actions aren't lining up with her words when it comes to what she wants. Would it be best to give space and let things grow or fizzle out organically? I'll be shocked if we don't hook up again soon. Or am I missing an opportunity to explore something great with her because she is anxious about lost something I don't think would happen, but I also respect her concerns? I feel like I'm too close to this to be fully objective, so any comments and questions are totally welcome. Thanks. What? Why would you not date her? You guys are ridiculous. You're mutually attracted to each other, like each other, and already have banged repeatedly. What situation in life, ever, would you find someone who has better potential to be a good GF? Just date her already. You guys are scared to ruin the friendship. But let's be real, hasn't it already? You really think you can go back to normal? You'll either keep hooking up, staying in a limbo, or you stop, and things will undoubtedly be awkward between you, especially as you have feelings for each other. Or you could actually date and see where it goes. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, well, I think you have a higher chance of staying friends after with proper closure than with whatever you're doing right now. Some of the best relationships start out as friendship. You're at the age to start thinking long-term. I say go for it, my dude, or you may regret it. As a casual observer, it seems that your friend is actually your girlfriend, and probably more. By the time a woman gets into her 20s, she has already figured out the dating scene, and it's obvious that she's attracted to you. The real question I see her proposing is, are you ready for a serious committed relationship, and possibly marriage? Was friends with my wife before we started dating. 31 years married and counting. If it feels right, shoot your shot. She's probably saying that to give you an out if you're not interested in her. She's clearly into you. But give her the same out when you ask her out. I, 32F, found explicit screenshots on my 37M fiancé of 15 years phone. How do I deal with this? TL. Dr. Fiancé was sending explicit messages on a hookup site, proceeded to send explicit photos of himself and of me, and then tried to meet up, but got declined. He screenshotted the messages, and I found them. Now I don't know how to confront him about it. Sorry, this is a bit lengthy, and I've tried to explain it the best way I can, so stay with me. For background, my fiancé and I have been together for 15 years, since I was 16, and have 4 children together. Yesterday, I was going through his photos on his phone, with his permission, and happened to notice there was a new folder with a passcode attached. I couldn't look at the time since he was there, and I know it was wrong, but later that night after he was asleep I went back and checked. Luckily the passcode is the same as his phone passcode, so it wasn't any trouble getting in. What I ended up finding was just a little shattering, to say the least, and I don't know what to do about it. Firstly, they were screenshots from a website exclusively used for male hookups. The thing is, a few months ago I saw something on his phone about this website, Googled it, and then asked him about it when I saw what it was, and he told me it must have been a link he'd clicked when looking at a different adult site. I believed him and moved on. Secondly, these messages were written as though this is definitely not his first time doing this. They started out saying he was a straight curious man of cross-dressing type looking for a future meetup with someone who would like to top. They went back and forth a little, and then he asked for contact details to get to know them better. Thankfully the other person said they don't share details, otherwise who knows how far that would go. They then went on to share explicit photos with each other. This then progressed to them both sharing they had girlfriends, and the other person asked for photos. My fiancé sent explicit images of me to this stranger that were meant for him. The guy asked if I'd be interested in a threesome, and my fiancé said I didn't seem interested whenever it was brought up, which is a shame as he's quite into doing that. That's the first I've heard. The other person then sent photos of his girlfriend, and my fiancé spoke about how gorgeous she is, and how he's a lucky guy. Now these are screenshots he's saved, so I have no idea how much further the conversation went, or how it ended. I will say this isn't the first time we've had an issue around dating websites, however this is the first time I have had concrete proof, and he's always explained it away before, and I've ended up believing him. Obviously I'm feeling pretty devastated, and a little bit all over the place. I'm trying to pretend everything is fine, but this feels pretty big, and I feel like my whole life is about to change. I don't know how to confront this situation, or where to start. I also don't know if I can even believe anything he tells me, as the trust is just gone. What bothers me most is that I wouldn't even be bothered if he had these curious feelings about men. It's the fact that not only is he being deceiving, and this to me feels like cheating, he's also shared images of me without my consent. I also have no idea how many times he's done things like this over the years, or if he's actually ever acted on it and physically cheated. How do I even begin to deal with this? 16 plus 5 equals leave already. WOH. Why is everyone glossing over the fact that he also sent pictures of you? This dude literally committed a sex crime against you. Report this sick motherfucker to the police. This is cheating, even though they didn't meet up to have sex. Plus, you should get the screenshots on your phone, so you have a proof he sent those pictures of you without your consent if one day you want to file a report or something. I'm really sorry it happened to you. How embarrassing that when men try and cheat they get rejected. So you were 16 and he was 21. He's cheating now, and I bet he's been cheating for a long time. Go get tested ASAP. Break off the engagement, sort out custody for your kids, and get some therapy for yourself to understand why you put up with garbage behavior from your romantic partners, because this man has repeatedly broken your trust, and you still agreed to marry him. My fiancé of 15 years girl run. If he ever had any plans to marry you, he should have done so long ago. You have 4 kids together, after all. What transpired now should be the final straw, hopefully. What do you still want from a guy like this? I, M30, think my wife, F29, is cheating. My wife and I have been together 4 years, and have 2 children together. Recently I have been having worries about her cheating. I'm worried I'm just paranoid. I'm trying to get the thoughts out of my head, but I can't. I went through her phone about a month ago and found texts between her and another man. He was being very sexual, but she didn't send anything sexual back. She also didn't stop it, and when he asked if he should stop she would say it's fine. She also mentioned she didn't care if I found it. These texts were already a month old when I found them, and when I confronted her she said our relationship was in a bad spot, and she was only texting him for attention. Recently I have captured on one of my cameras noises that sound like sex to me. I sent it to one of my tech-savvy friends, and he isolated it from the background noise, and said it sounded like the TV. They were watching Game of Thrones at the time of the recording, so it made some sense. I have also talked to her mother that was here, and she reassured me no one else was here, but it is her mother. I just can't shake these thoughts, and am constantly so worried. I watch the cameras at my house every day when I leave, and I just want it to stop. I love my wife, and I want to make this work. Any advice or opinions are helpful, thanks. Is there a good way to find out what's happening? Brother, the texts are emotional cheating, by my definition. As far as physical cheating, who's to say if that's even happening? Talk to your wife and express your feelings. You're doing IT investigations and questioning her mom. Talk to her. Tell her she broke your trust, and now you're having a hard time. You brought 2 children into this world. Have a conversation. Is this the same wife you started dating when she already had a boyfriend? If so, there's a saying for this. How you got them is how you'll lose them. Meaning, if she was willing to cheat on her boyfriend to get with you, and then she's going to be willing to cheat on you to get with someone else. He asked if he should stop, she would say it's fine. She also mentioned she didn't care if I found out. Really, you want to stay with a wife like that? First, stop involving other people in your business. You honestly expect her mother to tell you if something is going on? Nobody else hold the answers you're looking for. Second, trust your gut feeling. They're there for a reason. You read she doesn't care if you find out or not. This approach is to entice you into doing more, buying her gifts, giving her more attention, etc. You're clearly being manipulated. This all sucks donkey balls, because she's clearly just not into the relationship anymore. But we hang on to what we're feeling, which leads to devastation all on sides. Good luck, brother. Hope you find peace. You've been together 4 years and have 2 kids? Yeah, you two already made this shit harder than it needed to be. If she's okay with another guy sexting, then her head and heart are not with you. You're worried about her, the relationship, and the other guy. Miss Lady ain't worried about you and nothing else. She already emotionally cheated by seeking another man's attention. Up to team. Whose fault is it? Mine, or his 26F and 27M? I need some advice. My boyfriend, 27M, and myself, 26F, have been together for over 2 years. We moved in together sometime last year. At first, we would have sex no matter what time of day and wherever we were in the house. Now it's less frequently, and I need to figure out if it's my fault. I'll be completely honest, my boyfriend doesn't always turn me on. It's not that he's not attractive to me or sucks in bed, but his foreplay needs to improve. I've mentioned it before. And if I'm being honest, he has a tendency to do things that aren't sexy before we try to have sex, such as farting, biting me, making silly noises, etc. So when it comes to sex, it usually starts by me giving him head, and then him asking what position I would like, then has an orgasm at the end. Simple, right? No. I'm barely turned on as it is. I have to suck your cock. Suggest a position. And at the end you get the orgasm? It isn't fair, and I don't know what to do about it. There's times I want to rip his clothes off, but then I think what's the point if I'm doing most of the work? Granted, he usually is the one humping. But still, it isn't fair. I don't know if it's the foreplay that's the issue, me not being turned on by him, or what. I can also be overthinking everything and should be happy I have a boyfriend that loves me, finds me attractive, and can be his normal self around. Ick, help a girl out. I do not know where to start. You need an expert. Go to savagelove.com. But then I would tell your boyfriend, ladies first. He has to give you your orgasm before he gets his. Make him go down on you. As Sue used to say, he has 10 fingers and a tongue. Make him use them. Have you talked to him about what you want and what you enjoy? Just need to start with some proper communication, my dear. See where that gets you first. It's his fault for being inconsiderate and selfish, and a little bit your fault for not telling him. I wouldn't go down on him unless he did some really good stuff for me first. Otherwise, there's a reason they call it a job. If you've already gently mentioned to your man that his foreplay needs work, and he's not killing himself to learn how to make you come, that's like a really big FKN problem. Your partner should instinctively care about and want your pleasure. You can't force or train that into him. Maybe try actually sitting him down for a serious conversation and tell him you love him but want more from your sex life. His reaction will tell you whether the relationship is worth holding on to. I wonder, do you often fake orgasms? See if you don't, and he knows you just don't finish every time you have sex. That's really terrible on his end. Just to be clear, you are not getting off at all.